Beep beep, what is up ninjas? My name is Samworld and you guys have been asking for hardstyle tutorials left and right. I sent you guys an email on freebies you would like, so I made a free hardstyle leads pack for you with 20 presets. You can check out the link in the description below and you can go to the page, hear the demo, and if you like what you hear, just input your name and your email and I'll send you guys the pack. I'll be there waiting, or I'll just have an automated thing. But with that being said guys, these are 3 hardstyle leads you need to learn how to make. Let's get straight into it. Alright guys, the first hardstyle lead you need to learn how to make is the pulse lead. Now the pulse lead is a standard and we are going to be going into basic shapes and using a square. The square is a pulse and that's the way they call it in Silent 1. However, let's call it a fucking square. So this is how it's going to sound like the melody we're going to be making a lead for. So we have that square, we're going to put a mono, legato, and a bit of portamento there in case we have the kind of slide. As you can see there. From there, the next technique is the LFO 1. We are going to be applying that on the fine. Now, the first mistake a lot of sound designers make is that they'll put this on the CRS. And while there's nothing wrong with it theoretically, and I used to do this a lot, you kind of run the risk of getting this sound to sound out of tune to a point where it won't layer well with other sounds and it will sound kind of shitty. So make sure you put it on the fine. It's still going to give you the effect we want, which is going to sound like this. Now, 164. Now from here, it's where you can kind of be like, all right, Sen taught me this, I'm going to take it my way or the highway. So pretty much, here you can choose to go 132, which will give you a more apparent change. 164, more grit, more faster. So you can't really tell it's kind of, and then once 120. So it's up to you to decide what you want. From there, you're going to decide how much you're going to apply. You're going to left click and you can pull down and up. I kind of like it there, so we're going to leave it there. Now, the next thing we need to do to this pulse, and this is kind of going to be a little bit of like, if you want to do it, you don't need to, is going to be to give it a pitch envelope shot. So pretty much we're doing like a slingshot effect. The pitch is moving hella up really fast, so it's like boop, and then it comes back down to the original. Doing like a slingshot where it's like, if you pull more, pop, it hits harder. So you're going to hear it's going to start to hit more. As you can see, we get a really nice vibe out of this. From here, guys, we can apply a filter if you feel it's needed. Now, the cool thing about Serum is that it does have these flange filters. I call them the experimental filters because no one knows what the fuck they're doing with them. They'll go through all of them until they find something cool, and then that's the one we go. No one knows what the fuck we're doing with them. In all honesty, you can't predict how it's going to sound like at times, so you got to be careful with them. Now, I prefer to go to the misc and use sort of like a comb, and you can do this. And you're going to get really cool vibes. That's totally up to you if you want to ditch the original hardstyle sound, which is the pulse, or you want to go with that. However, there's more you can use, like formant. And you can go from there. Now, from there, you're going to apply distortion. And then OTT if you want. Now from here you can change the pulse width on the square by moving right on the wavetail position. Get rid of Now, as you can see, the pulse is the more of the standard one you want to go with. From there you can apply like pre-filter to get different tonalities out of it. So it's up to you to decide from there. Now the last tip I'll give you before we move on to the second sound we need to learn how to make is going to be applying oscillator B and putting another layer there, which would be like a saw layer, a stereo layer. Because when we have one voice and one oscillator, you have to know that we're going to have a mono driven sound. When you have more than 2 voices, however, you start to get stereo on the sound. So we're going to go with 8 voices there and have. Let's lower the volume of this so that the square comes out more. go. We have a very nice. A kind of very nice lead to work with, and then from there you would layer a little bit more to give it more body. You can apply EQ if you feel here, or you can just do it via Ableton's EQ or FL Studio's EQ. But that's the first thing you need to learn how to make. It's the pulse wave, the pulse lead that everyone uses in hardstyle, and they layer it a lot with other types of sounds. Alright guys, now the next lead you need to know how to make is the anthemic lead. So what this means is that this lead is going to be used in breakdowns, and usually it will take up majority of your frequencies. So the way we're going to do this, guys, is a saw with 10 voices on it. So this is going to be like a fucking mega saw or something. And both sides here, and we're going to do 2. Now keep in mind the chords are giving this sound, they're making it sound better than it actually is, because if I just play it, it sounds like a standard super saw, but the thing that makes it is the chord. We're gonna add a bit of release. We're gonna go here basic and get a sine wave type of modulation, and tends to be more of the smoother one. You know, we have the saw which is like tick that, and then we have the sine which is like hey, you know, like very you know, very smooth. So we're gonna be applying this guy on the fines of both of these guys. It's gonna give it movement. From here, you can kind of add an envelope 2 to this if you want to kind of open it. So you can kind of play with that, automate that. We're going to leave it open up all the way though, but I'm just giving you guys that option there if you want to do it. From there, we are going to be going into the effects. Now this is where it starts to get a little bit dirty. Remember, hardstyle is like big room and like progressive house kind of saws, but dirtier. That's what I like about it. You can be dirty and emotional at the same time. You know, you can be like, take that girl, I fucking love you, or something like that. You know, that's the way I hear it. So a little bit of downsample never hurt. Gonna give it that little bit of tonality that it's needed. You go like, this is not a hardstyle lead, but then you put that and I was like, that's a hardstyle lead. From there, we can apply various different ones like now with reverb. You know, you want to have a little bit of it, but usually this lead is just playing all the time that it's really not going to do much, so don't overdo it. However, you can use very high reverb to give it a more spacious kind of vibe. Now keep in mind, signal flow is very important. So if I put this distortion down, but after the reverb, we're gonna distort the reverb as well, but that gives us a very nice effect. Just be very careful with not to overdo it, because obviously if you have other distorting kind of leads playing with this, then you're gonna have an abundance of that distortion artifact that tends to fuck up a mix. From there, guys, that's gonna be the euphoric lead. There's not much else to it. You can apply chorus if you want and all that, but that's the gist of it. You know, we got the beautiful so you can kind of get really cool sounds with that. So that's the second lead you need to learn how to make for hardstyle. Now the last thing you need to learn how to make are going to be the screeches you tend to hear on the hardstyle drops. Those are going to be leads. I consider them leads. So what we're going to be doing, guys, is very simple. What we're going to be doing here is using a saw very, very loud. But we want to have like a MIDI that's more of a percussive MIDI. Like that, and then we're gonna have 2 of these guys. Now keep in mind, you can always change the wavetable, because the technique needed to make these types is just gonna be changed over time to the sound. We're gonna use envelope 2 lower down with decay there to kind of get movement. So why don't we do some syncs here to see that. Let's do that as well here. And then maybe we can apply like LFO to these. Let's put a cutoff. And then we're gonna distort heavily. A little bit of stuff we've already known. Now here we can go with a more experimental filter like the German LP or the French. The French know how to do it. We can apply both here. You know, why don't we move this a little bit more there. And now we can add that movement. And we can kind of get really cool sounds like that give us that nice vibe. Let's see if adding more sync. So that's going to create change over time. If I hold down the note, you're going to see the change. So that gives us a nice kind of feature. So remember, you can do this with fucking spectral type of wavetables, any type of wavetable that you can apply change to. You can even do maybe FM here and have this happen. So it's kind of like a, and you're gonna get kind of those kind of hits. It's all about that change over time. Remember, when you hear a sound and it goes something like, or it does, you know, like you have to realize that that sound is changing. It's not just one sound that you play and it's like that. It needs to change. That's where that and then all that stuff comes from. With that being said, guys, I hope you guys enjoyed this video. People keep asking if I have a new camera. The thing is, my stand broke, so once I get that stand fixed, I'm gonna be making a little bit more higher production quality videos. I need to go buy one, and I'm just really lazy. But yeah, guys, you can download the free Hardstyle leads over at the website. I'll leave the link in the description below. If you like this video, hit like. And I'm also going to be making a new pack today for tomorrow, which is another freebie because it's the 12 days of Christmas and Samuel came to me. He gave me a nice hand job, and I'll see you guys next time. You guys take care, and you guys have an amazing day.